Which of these photos looks simpler to you? The one to the left or the one to the right? By now, you might have noticed that it is the exact same photo with the exact same items and textures. The only difference between the photo to the right and the one to the left is the color. And the point I want to make with this video is how much color contributes to how calm or overwhelmed we feel in a space. When we use color well, it doesn't even matter how many items you have in the room, it will never be overwhelming. However, when color is disregarded, even a few items can feel overwhelming. But with a few basic color skills, you can keep your environment looking beautiful throughout the years and save you some decluttering time as well as money on discarded items. And in order to explain how color impacts our perception of space simplicity, I need to go back to the definition of groups that I discussed in my video Space Organization Without Decluttering. And if you haven't seen it, don't worry, I will do a short recap and also link that video at the end of this one. There, I talked about our mind's propensity to group items with similar features into one item. When items are placed close together and they share similar features like a color, we tend to create a group in our mind. But in nature, it never is just one color across the board. Nature displays various shades from one color on the group. Baby animals have a slightly different color fell than the adult animals, yet we still perceive them as one. Even the fell or the skin itself has different shades across the body of the animal, but they are different shades of the same color. A group of trees in the fall are a great example because the colors of the leaves are on various shades of brown, yet we perceive them as one. Some of them are even nearly red, and others are still keeping their greenish undertone. So we are used to seeing groups in nature displaying a variety of shades of the same color. So when we play with various tones of the same color in our own environment, we tell our brain that it's actually looking at one thing. It helps it unify the information. So if we go back to our composition before, where do we start with making it simpler? A lot of people will pick white all around. White is a beautiful color, as you can see. And unlike all other colors, it doesn't stimulate us in any way. It feels pretty calm, but if you think about it, all white in nature is either a desert or a winter scene. It can feel somewhat underwhelming or sparse, but going for all white will always be easy to understand. However, I don't want to take the easy route here. I'm more interested in adding more colors to this composition and seeing where it starts to look bad. So let's add another color, let's say brown. Again, a color seen in nature and very much one that helps us feel calm and relaxed. How might I make this space feel more unified? We can add a similar shade of brown to other items in the room. In this case, I will add it to the painting, the side table, and the pillow. And the composition continues to feel very simple. What if we want to see more color? Would that become more complex, or is there a way to keep it simple? The following steps would be to introduce various shades of brown throughout the composition. We can mix brown with either black or white and add hues from other colors. This keeps the composition unified like an autumn landscape, because all the colors are variations of brown. We can even try this with other colors like green. Same game. Regarding the shade of color on the bedroom wall, if the bedroom is exclusively used for sleeping, you can absolutely pick a very dark color on the wall. It will absorb the light in the room and help you fall asleep faster. If you use the bedroom for daytime activities too, maybe you have a small workspace in your bedroom, then going for a very light shade of green or brown is probably better because it's going to help you stay alert during the day. How about adding more shades of color and continuing to make this space look effortlessly simple? The sweet spot, I believe, is when you can stay within two colors and their family of shades. It's not boring simple anymore, it's sophisticated simple. If you take two complementary colors like red and green, but then go into various shades towards blue and brown, it starts to look quite elegant. The fact that I can see green on other items in the room, not just in one item, it starts to make the composition more unified. The same goes for brown. I see it in the pillow, I see it in the painting, I see it in the side table. The fact that I see the color in multiple places around the room, it really helps with making the composition look like one in my mind. Where things start to go south is when the base color of various items in the room seems unrelated to others. They are sort of one-offs. The colors are not variations of the same color, but they are distinctly different. In this case, we have a blue and a yellow blanket, then a reddish pillow, which is too red to match the brown painting, a green backrest, which almost goes along with the wall, but then the purple magenta lamp is just yet another different color. And so this color disharmony can feel overwhelming because as no item looks like it might be from the same family with another, your brain is busy perceiving all these elements in the room as independent items. And the more items you have in the room, the busier it gets in the brain. Okay, so what do you do when you find yourself in such a situation? You can't change the colors of the items you already bought, but you can do various things that will make the room look more unified. These steps are low budget and DIY friendly and therefore widely accessible to everyone. Painting. One thing you can do is to paint a piece of furniture or a wall in a different color. Often the wall on which the bed is placed becomes an accent wall, so you can get away with painting just one wall. You may choose warmer colors that match the bedding and pillows, making the space look more unified, or you could go for complementary colors like dark blue that contrasts with brown shades. For example, you might pick a café au lait or coffee with milk type of shade. Removing. Without going full-blown decluttering, you may remove a couple of items that are not necessarily in harmony with other items, presuming of course that they are not important to be in the room. In this composition, I will remove the blanket at the end of the bed. It already starts to look better, doesn't it? Upholstering. I would generally recommend against upholstering yourself, especially items like armchairs. But for beds, I have seen quite a few okay DIY upholstering results that are not too shabby. So if you have a quality material and your bed is not extremely expensive, you can do a DIY upholstering of the backrest. Here I will pick a darkly saturated brown to make the contrast a little bigger. Swapping items. You may choose to swap your lamp with one in more earthy tones, or if the base is made of clay, you may also choose to paint it. Again, up to you. I have picked an earthy shade of brown. The blanket on the bed doesn't bother me that much, but I might swap it for a blanket with a more reddish tone of brown to match the pillow facing me, which I don't want to change. Actually, if I look at this composition, I think a darker shade of brown on the wall would be more interesting and more moody. Let's see. I think this one looks better. And that's about it. You can do any of these moves whenever you find the time and the budget. Neither of them costs a lot, and the most important thing is that you have a vision for it. Now that you are armed with these simple yet effective techniques, I would encourage you to look around your home and see what small changes with a big impact you can do. Might you swap a blanket? Might you paint a lamp? Let me know in the comments what you end up doing. And if you like this video and want to learn more about other methods of space simplification, you should absolutely check out my video Home Simplification without Decluttering.